Let me show y'all something. See this book right here? Van Sertima dealt with none of the information presented in this book. He dealt with none of it. First of all, let's go back here. Let's go back here, right? Look at all this. Look at all the citations. Look at all the citations. Look at all these citations. Let's start at the back of the book. Photography credits. Look at all these credits. Photography credits. Selected bibliography. Look at all this. Look at all of this. This is a bibliography of what's in this book. Van Sertima covered none of this. None of this. Absolutely none of this. Look at this. This is the bibliography of this book. Van Sertima covered none of this. None of this. He told you what he thought the shit looked like. He gave you his opinion. He gave you none of this. Look at the index. Look how thick this. He gave you none of this. Van Sertima gave you none of this. I haven't even gotten to the pictures yet. Van Sertima gave you none of this. None of this. Look at all this. Look at all these sources that you can go and check to validate what's in this book. Van Sertima gave you none of this. Look at this book. Look at this book. Look at this book. Van Sertima gave you none of this. Look at all these artifacts. Look at all these artifacts. Van Sertima gave you none of this. He gave you none of this. He gave you a couple Olmec heads. He gave you none of this. He ain't show you that. Does that look like a Negro? He ain't show you that. All this is Olmec stuff. All this. All this. Not just the Negro heads that y'all swear are Negro heads. Y'all ain't get none of this. Y'all ain't get none of this. Y'all ain't get none of this. You ain't get this. The shaman in the prayer position. You ain't get that. The transformation position. You ain't get that. Van Sertima ain't sharing none of this with you. That look like a Negro to you? Does that look like a Negro to you? Does that look like a Negro to you? These are all Olmec. All Olmec. Why? Does that look like a Negro to you? These are all Olmec as well. See? All y'all want to talk about is the Negro heads, which were made out of porous limestone, which means they're hard to carve details into it because it chips off and breaks easy, right? So that's why you have less defined features, right? But when they work with stones that they could be real defined with, this is the stuff they made. When they work with stones that they could carve very deeply and put all types of details, this is what they made. That's how exact they made their artwork. Y'all don't know about this artwork. You only know about the big Olmec heads. So you don't know about this. Does that look like a Negro to you? Does any of this look like a Negro to you? Y'all don't know nothing about this. Y'all don't know nothing about this. You think, look at that. You think that symbol there is the damn, you think the Olmec dragon is the symbol of the fucking Southern Confederate. That's how stupid y'all are. You're fucking stupid. You would call that the fucking, oh, that's the Confederate flag. That's what y'all be saying, because you're stupid. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The Olmec dragon got nothing to do with no Confederate flag. But when y'all see that, you be like, look, the Confederate flag, because you're fucking stupid. All of y'all. Look, who can break that down? Jaguar, sled, child. What is that depicting? Huh? The Olmec world, ritual and rulership. What do you think this is depicting? The jaguar, a sled, and a child with an Olmec helmet on. Why? Because the jaguar represents the spiritual world. The child represents this world, right? So when he's born, the sled represents the birth canal. So he's born from the spiritual world, ushered in by the jaguar, and then comes the child. Go watch Apocalypto. It'll show you all that stuff symbolically. Van Sertima didn't give you that. I just gave you niggas that shit. And you disingenuous niggas will still be out here lying. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. It's so much shit in here that y'all didn't get. The Rainmakers, the Olmecs, and their contribution to Mesoamerican belief and ritual. Belief and ritual. Look at that. See those? Those are fangs. Why? Because that's a cat. That's a cat. Let me show y'all something. See that again? That's the prayer position. Shaman, jaguar transformation. See these heads? These are Olmec heads too. But what they're showing you is the transformation that's happening. Y'all don't realize what's going on. See that? Shamanism, transformation, and Olmec art. Look at this. That's the prayer position. That's the shaman. He's transforming into what? A werecat. Why? Because at this point in time, they're returning to the spiritual world, right? Life and death. See these things? You ain't seen none of these before. Why Van Sertima ain't show y'all all this? Why he ain't show y'all that? See that? Y'all ain't get none of this. Why y'all ain't get this? Where the two-faced ladies, since y'all think all this stuff is real? Where are these people at? That's Olmec art. Who are these people? Yeah, y'all know what y'all talking about. Y'all have no idea what you're talking about. You're just looking at pictures. You're just looking at pictures. You're just looking at pictures. Now, I'm going to end with this. Because this is the spiritual belief of the Olmecs. Once again, spirit form, you are a jaguar. When you're birthed, when you're born as a man. This is a relief from a wall painting depicting that. Why y'all don't know about this since y'all the Olmecs? Since all you want to talk about is these big Negro heads. That's all y'all want to talk about is that. That's all y'all want to talk about. 17 of them. And that's the one I'm standing next to. Y'all know nothing about this. Nothing. Just running your mouth. Just running your mouth. Preparing the way. Y'all don't know nothing about this stuff. This is all Olmec art. You niggas just looking at the big ass fucking porous heads that look that way because those stones were hard to carve detail into. Yeah. So I'm going to end with this, right? I'm going to end with this so y'all get an understanding of what it is the fuck you're looking at. The impressive head of a were-jaguar is in the same stage of transformation as those of the standing were-jaguars in the collection of Dumbarton Oates and Cat, numbers 46 and 48. Given the size of his head, the intact figure could have been as large as the Dumbarton Oaks site. The features of the face poised mid-point in the transformation from human to jaguar. Round and drawn to points at the outside corners, the deeply excavated eyes probably held inlays of dark, reflective materials such as pyrite. The human nose has broadened and the nostrils are slightly flared. The wide open mouth, with indications of sharp fangs, takes on the aspect of a growl. The ears are completely human. The brow is knitted and creased with ridges above the eyes and above the ridge. And another ridge, beginning above the ear and running over the smooth crown of the head. That may indicate the emergence of the jaguar from the human shell. Yeah, I ain't giving y'all the rest of this shit, but y'all know what the fuck y'all talking about.